but the Greek Freak's best finishing move came before the game, with Giannis and his teammates taking part in some pregame WWE-style action, which, for a split second, again, I woke up at 2 a.m. and I scrolled through Twitter and I got nervous that something was happening. But look, to each their own with the pregame madness.
Oh, look at that. Is he going to hit him with the people's elbow?
Oh, my God.
Is it coming? Oh, he is going to hit him with the people's elbow.
I love using the ropes. Using the ropes.
Oh.
Use the ropes. Here it comes. Here it comes. Boom!
That is great.
The only thing better than this is what it would look like if we got to do some pre-show wrestling of our own, and this is what we would look like.
Oh, look at that.
Because that is tremendous.
I actually like this Photoshop.
Nick,
pretty good.
balding a little bit on top.
Gottlieb's Randy Macho Man Savage.
Yes.
Clearly.
Am I Mr. Perfect there?
Only,
I think that's
title
who I am.
only.
The Jenna's
Perfect.
wrestler.
Perfect.
They didn't, but they at least made us real wrestlers.
Look at
I feel
that.
like Jenna got the short end of the stick.
No, she didn't, because the body is on par. I like that.
Oh, Jenna.
What's wrong, Nick?
He body shaming everybody else, talking about your own body.
Unbelievable.
I didn't body.
No, I mean, it's like a body image thing, though. You kind of have a thing.
No, you know what?
What's the thing?
You know what, Gottlieb? I don't.
Oh, yeah!
You guys look tremendous, by
You
the
do.
way.
Look
You
at
look
that.
good, Nick.
There, I was about to offer money to be able to play some sports video right
You'll
now.
look good.
Thank you.
Okay.
I swear. I don't know who presses the button back there, but you got $500 coming after the show. On to the Cowboys on Wednesday.
The fun stuff.
Jenna, I heard Dak was limited.
He was indeed limited in practice. First time in his career he's been limited in practice because of a shoulder injury that he suffered last week against the Rams. He did stay in that game, played well enough to get the win, but he hasn't taken a snap in practice the last couple of days. So what does it mean for his availability Sunday against Philly and perhaps Dallas's biggest game of the season? Here's Dak Prescott.
It's all improving. That's the key. It's the goal. I'll be good to go Sunday.
We know the situation. Like I said, we know what's going on, and you know, at the same time, we're treating it as another game, but we're aware of everything. And like I said, we're really excited. And for one, I'm really excited that we're at home. You know, I know these fans are going to show up and be loud, and yeah, I can't wait till Sunday afternoon.
This is what you play this game for. When I was a little boy and dreamed about being a quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, these are the situations you thought about being in. And excited for this moment, this opportunity for our team.
The good Lord workout thing, type thing.
This is what he
Dreamed
wanted.
of being the Dallas Cowboys quarterback.
7-7, we could win the division.
He visualized 7-7 and Carson Wentz on the other side.
Listen, they haven't played great seasons at all, these two teams. That being said, this is the biggest game for both of them coming up this weekend. Who wins, Philadelphia or the Dallas Cowboys?
I think Philadelphia's got the better coach. Even though it is harder and harder to make this case than it was at the beginning of the year. I still believe Philadelphia has the better quarterback. I get it. Dallas fans think I just hate on Dak, and I don't mean to. I just can't lie to you and say when I watch them play, even though Dak's been better this year, he's been better at taking care of the football as far as not fumbling.
Yep.
He's been better as far as downfield passing. I understand, and I'm a numbers guy. The numbers say Dak's better. I still just in my gut feel like if I were starting a team and could have either one of them, I'd rather have Carson
Wentz.
And this game's in Philadelphia. And so for all those reasons, I like the Eagles. And I think I don't really trust the Eagles, but I absolutely don't trust the Cowboys. And so to me, the Cowboys right now are being overvalued enormously because of what we just saw. We just saw them annihilate a Rams team that I think was a little overvalued going into that week's game because of what we had just seen from them, which was they played their best couple games of the season, the games leading up to the Cowboys game. I know the Cowboys have a path to beating the Eagles. It's the one they've used every time they've had Zeke. Run Zeke, have Zeke run all over this football team, and do it that way. I don't know that that will work this weekend in Philly. I also think that for Carson Wentz, at some point for me to be right, for you to be right about Carson Wentz holistically, not necessarily about this football game, he not only needs to play in big games like this, needs to win them.
Yes.
Now, he hasn't lost a bunch of big games because he's 0-0. This is the first really high leverage game of his career. And if he's the quarterback I think he is, if he's the quarterback they thought he was when they took him #2 overall, the quarterback that he was the year he led them to the #1 seed before he got hurt, in your first opportunity, even with an undermanned squad, at home against your division rival, that you get eliminated from the playoffs if you lose, you win that football game. So that's why I'm picking Philadelphia.
Look, I understand. I actually think he can play well and they can still lose, right?
Okay.
And I think there are plenty of spots which you go back throughout the Eagles season and point out, if it wasn't for this drop against Atlanta, they win. If it wasn't for the drop against New England,
maybe they force overtime.
Maybe they force overtime. Like you can play well. Look, there's a philosophy in all sports, which is, hey, at the end of the game, you play your starters, you play your best players. Your best players are your best players for a reason. And you have practice squad wide receivers. Like, are there the Adam Thielens, guys that go to Minnesota State and walk into a tryout and somehow become a Pro Bowler and All-Pro and become an important? Yes. But by and large, they're on the practice squad for a reason.
Yep.
And for that reason, and look, the Dallas Cowboys are a good team. They've already hammered the Eagles. I don't think there's a lack of confidence there. Am I a little concerned that that the injury could be worse than we think and that could hinder him? And he's a guy who is not deadly accurate when he's reloading, when he's going through his progressions at times? Sure. But I just... Look, you got a healthy Zeke, you got a healthy offensive line, you got a healthy Amari Cooper. The defense is healthier, right?
Yep.
Not fully back with Van Der Esch. I don't know. I just think the Cowboys are better. And while you're doing the protest vote thing, it's really the lesser of two evils, right? Because since Doug Peterson won the Super Bowl, last year was a mess. That they found a way to get to the playoffs, but mostly because the division was so bad. And this year, there have been critiques of his coaching acumen. He's seen higher heights in a shorter period of time, and Jason Garrett has not done enough to secure the confidence of anybody in Dallas, most importantly his boss. But I don't think there's that big a gap in coaching, and I think there is that big a gap in terms of overall talent because of health.
Well, one thing on the part of the Eagles that is most banged up is the receiving corps.
Right.
But they still have their most important and best receiving option. It's Zach Ertz. It's their tight end. He's always been Carson Wentz's favorite target. They also still have Miles Sanders, and they still have the running game as far as that they, I think, will try to lean on in this football game. If Carson Wentz can play a clean game, I think that is, now again, 14 games played this year, 14 turnovers, and half of those have been lost fumbles. So that is easier said than done to a degree. I think because of where this game is being played, man, and I was in Philadelphia for the last, is this right? That is right. It is the biggest game they played in that building since this one was the NFC Championship game. Before this one, pardon me, correct. Against Minnesota.
Right.
And I felt that stadium shake on the pick six. And I felt in that environment, a playoff environment, because last year they didn't have home playoff game, was their wild card team. This year, this is essentially an elimination game. I think that environment is going to be worth 3 points, and at the least, to go along with the fact that I do think Carson Wentz is going to seize this moment. Maybe I'll be wrong, and maybe even if he had all the receivers, he wouldn't be able to do it, and maybe I've just overvalued Wentz. Maybe I should just look at the numbers and say, yeah, he's been mediocre, but in my gut, I think he is going to be a star again, and the way you do that is you win games like this.
It's fascinating, the Cowboys. I mean, you go, and if I said
statistically, they're amazing.
Amazing on important stuff. Yards per play, #1 in the league. Third down. Like, third down is the down in the NFL. And they have the #1 third down offense in the National Football League. But it is the little things. It is the special teams blunders. It is
Now, where does that come from? It comes from the head coach, maybe? Is this it for Jason Garrett? Is this the last game that he's going to have to determine whether he stays or goes?
No, look, if he loses, it's over.
If he loses, we agree that he's out?
Yes.
And if he wins, does he get another game or he gets another season?
Oh, we get another game because they're going to go to the playoffs, and then it's let's see what happens with the playoffs. Playoffs is a completely new life, and they do have talent, and they are a talented, good football team. If they can win a couple games in the playoffs, he gets the NFC Championship game, he's not losing his job. Jerry's not firing a guy who goes to the NFC Championship.
It felt going into the year that he had to get to the NFC Championship game to keep his job. That's why, if the divisional round was enough to keep his job, the divisional round would have been enough to get a contract extension. It's where they got to last year. They won a playoff game last year. It's the furthest they've ever been under Jason Garrett as the head coach. given how bad this season's been, how vocal Jerry's been, I think the standard might be a step further at this point, might be make it to the Super Bowl. But either way, NFC Championship game, Super Bowl, or put Dak Prescott on the moon, none of them are happening.
Right.
To me...
Well, you don't believe they're happening. I think there's a chance of them happening.
To me, they are 40% to win this game. If they win this game, they win the division. They will be 15%